Hello and welcome to the second installment in Module 1, which is 1.2, adding integers. So in 1.1 we learned what integers are, and in 1.2 we're going to start adding them. So today, students will be able to add integers. Okay, there are some rules that you can use to help you add integers. Now remember, integers are all the whole numbers that are either positive or negative. So all of the whole numbers and their opposites. So two situations can occur when adding integers. The first one is that you could add two integers with the same sign. Okay, so for instance, we have 5 plus 8 here as our first example. Now that's something you've been doing since probably first grade or kindergarten. So you know that 5 plus 8 is 13. Okay, 5 and 8 have the same sign. We just add them together and get our answer. But what happens if we are adding two negative integers, such as -4 and -12? Now, we might not know how to add those, so we need to follow the rule that is given to us. The rule is that we are going to add the numbers. Okay, so 4 plus 12 is 16. And our final answer will use the sign of the two integers. Now the signs, we have to remember what the word sign means in math. It really just means positive or negative. So a number either has a positive sign or a negative sign. And in this case, they both are negative. The sign of those two numbers are negative. So our final answer will have a negative sign. So -4 plus -12 is -16. Okay? The second situation that you might run into is when you're trying to add two integers with different signs, okay? Such as 3 plus -9. 3 is positive, -9 is negative, okay? When that occurs, you are going to subtract the numbers, essentially ignoring the signs, and then give it the sign of the bigger number. Again, kind of ignoring the signs. So subtract. So we take 9 minus 3 and get 6. And we're going to use the sign of the bigger number. So 9 is bigger than 3, but the 9 was negative. So our final answer is negative. -6. Now I know that can be confusing because typically we know that 3 is bigger than -9, technically, right? So the wording when it says bigger number can be a little confusing. When it says bigger number, we are ignoring the signs, okay? So let's try another one. -7 plus 11. Those two integers have different signs. So we're going to follow our rule. We're going to subtract the numbers, give it the sign of the bigger number. So 11 minus 7 is 4, okay? And the sign of the bigger number, which is 11, is positive. So your answer is a +4. So it uses the sign of the bigger number. Now you can memorize how to use these rules, which probably won't take you long, or you could use a number line to do it, which is what we're going to do in this example here. And honestly, the number line is a little bit more intuitive. Okay, it makes a little bit more sense to use a number line. So our first example says, use a number line to find each sum. -7 plus -4. Okay, when you use a number line to find sums, you are going to start at 0. Okay, start at 0 on a number line. Well, our first number is -7. So from 0, I'm going to go all the way down to -7 right here. But then I am adding a -4. Okay, now I have to decide which direction is the negative direction. Is it go to the left or to the right? Well, going to the left is the negative direction. And if I'm trying to add more negativity, I'm trying to add 4 more negative pieces, I should continue to go to the left. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 more spots to the left into the negatives, and I end up at -11. So -7 plus -4 ends up being -11. So start at 0, go down to -7. We are adding more negativity, so keep going to the left. Okay. A question that has occurred a few times is, why are there parentheses right here? What is the purpose of those parentheses? Essentially, those parentheses just tell you that this negative sign right here, oops, my board's really off. This negative sign right here goes with the 4. So we have -7 plus -4. That's all those parentheses are doing, is grouping the negative with the 4. Let's try another one. All right, how about -12 plus 19? We'll try this one. So again, I want to start at 0. Okay. My first number is -12. Well, -12 is way to the left, so I'm going to go way down to -12, right here. Okay. But then I'm adding a positive number. I'm adding a positive 19. Okay, and the positive direction would be to go to the right. So from -12, I'm going to move 19 spots to the right, since 19 is positive. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and I happen to end up at 7 when it's all said and done. 7, -12 plus 19 equals 7, which you see here. Now, I could use my rules that I just learned on the last slide to do this if I wanted. And your rules said if they have different signs, which they do, you are going to subtract the numbers. So 19 minus 12, you get 7, and you use the sign of the bigger number. Well, the bigger number is 19, and it's positive. So your answer should be a positive 7. And it is. Okay, so we basically have two methods that we can always use to check our work to see if we're correct. The number line method or using the rule method. Next example. -4 plus 8. Now this one, you could use either method again. It would be easy enough just to count on a number line. We would go, since it's a -4, we would go 4 places to the left. And then since it's a positive 8, we would turn around and go 8 more spots to the right. Okay. Or we could use our rule. And our rule says, hey, they have different signs. And when they have different signs, we subtract them. So 8 minus 4 is 4. Okay, and then we have to decide what sign it is. Well, the 8 is the bigger number of the two, and that's a positive number, so your final answer is a positive 4. And you could think about it as degrees. So sometimes temperature, that sometimes helps us understand adding integers. So let's say it's the dead of winter and it's -4 degrees outside. It's very cold, but it warms up 8 degrees. You would expect now that the temperature is above 0. In fact, it's 4 degrees above 0. So sometimes thinking about it as temperature can help us understand it a little better. Okay, here's another example. We could use a number line for this. We could go all the way to positive 23, and then since we're adding a negative number, we would go to the left 35 units. But that would take us quite a while, so we might as well use our rule for this one. And the rule is having to do with a positive number and a negative number. Okay, when they have different signs, you subtract them. So 35 minus 23, 5 minus 3 is 2, 3 minus 2 is 1. So you get 12. And I have to decide what sign that gets now. Well, the bigger number is 35, and the sign on that 35 is negative. So your final answer should be a negative 12. Okay? You have $23, you spend $35. Well, now you have negative $12. You owe money. Okay? You can think about it that way too. All right, another example here. Again, they have opposite signs, and when they have opposite signs, we should subtract them. So 24 minus 13. 4 minus 3 is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. We end up with 11. What is the sign of the bigger number? Well, 24 is the bigger number, and that sign is negative. So negative 11 is your answer there. Okay, last one of these here. We have negative 102 plus negative 26. Now these two have the same sign, and the rule for when they have the same sign is that you add them. So we should take 102 and add 26. So 2 plus 6 is 8, 0 plus 2 is 2, and then we carry down the 1. So when we add them, we get 128. Now the other part of that rule said add them and then use the sign of those two numbers. Well, the sign is negative, so that means our answer should be negative. Which makes sense if we think about it on a number line. We're going to the left, 102, way down in the negatives. And then we're adding more negativity to it, negative 26. So we should continue to go in the left direction and go all the way down to negative 128. So you can think about it using the number line method as well. Okay, we are going to dabble in a little bit of algebra right now. And the reason I say that is because you see some letters here. Notice this says evaluate, and another word for evaluate is just find. That's another word for evaluate. X plus Y. Well, that's a little bit of algebra because we're seeing some letters in here now. And if I just asked you, hey, what is X plus Y? You would say, I don't know, Z. And you can't know what X plus Y is unless I tell you what X is and I tell you what Y is. And as long as you know those two pieces of information, you can find out what X plus Y is. So instead of X, I'm telling you X is going to be equal to negative 42. And instead of Y, I'm telling you Y is 71. So X plus Y is negative 42 plus 71. And now this is a math problem that you can solve, okay? They are integers with different signs, which means I should subtract them. So I should take 71 minus 42, okay? And I can't do 1 minus 2, so I will have to borrow. So this becomes a 6. This becomes an 11. And 11 minus 2 is 9. 6 minus 4 is 2. So 29. And I should take the sign of the bigger number. Well, 71 is the bigger number, and it is positive. So X plus Y in this case is 29. And I can tell you whatever I want X to be and whatever I want Y to be. In this specific case, I just chose negative 42 and 71. Okay. And I should mention that you won't be able to use your calculators on any of the quizzes or tests for this module, so don't practice your homework using a calculator. You will have to remember how to do this the longhand way, okay? All right, try another one. We are finding X plus Y, but this time X is negative 53 and Y is negative 29. So in for X, I'm going to put negative 53, plus in for Y, I'm going to put negative 29. And I'm going to put that in parentheses just to tell myself, hey, the negative goes with the 29. Okay? I'm adding two integers with the same sign. And when I do that, I just need to add the integers. So 53 plus 29. 3 plus 9 is 12. Carry the 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. So you get 82. And the rule says use the sign of the two integers. Well, the sign of the two integers was negative. So my final answer is negative 82. Negative 82. And we have some word problems here. So we have the jazz band's income for a bake sale was $268, and I'm running out of time here, so I'm probably just going to get through this example here. $268, and income means the amount you made, but their expenses were $21, and that means the amount they had to spend. So I am going to add a negative $21 since that's the amount of money I lost, okay, that I'm spending. And I'm going to figure out what their total profit is. I have about 25 seconds to do that. So different signs means I'm going to subtract them. Okay, 6 minus 1 is 5, 8 minus 2 is 6, 265. Okay, and I'm working with money here, so I should put a dollar sign. So if they made $286, but they spent 21, their total profit is $265.